it's Christina from the DIYmommy.com, and today I want to share with you some fun 90s inspired DIYs that my girls and I have been doing this summer. They absolutely love to make DIY friendship bracelets, and I've also made some DIY hair scrunchies. So you can wear these apparently now as bracelets as well, I hear. This is the new trend. Or of course you can wear them in your hair like we did in the 90s. And I guess you can wear these together, which I think is something called VSCO girl style. I don't know. I will link that down below in the description box if you're curious to learn more about that. I kind of just learned about that this last month. So let me show you how to make some friendship bracelets. Most of the supplies I'm using today are from the dollar store. So I found these paper clips from Dollarama, and I found this floss from Dollarama as well. $3 Canadian for all of this floss. I loved the pastel colors, so I'm going to show you from the easiest to the hardest friendship bracelets. So depending on the age of your child or your skill level, if you're making some for yourself, you can make an easy one, a medium one, or a hard one. So this first one is a braided one, so I'm just measuring out some floss that's twice the size of my wrist. I'm adding about 4 inches for the ties at the end. I'm cutting 3 out of one color, and then 3 of the same length out of a second color, and 3 of the same length again out of a third color. So I'm kind of doing some nice watercolor mermaid inspired colors here with the light blue, the purple, and the green. So once you have all your pieces cut, just like I'm doing here, you can tie a knot in the top. And then I'm just using some painter's tape to attach this to my countertop. Then divide your colors like I'm doing here and start a braid. So this is just a regular braid where you're taking the outside strand and you're taking it over top of the middle one and bringing it into the center. And continue with the left and the right and the left and the right to create a braid. This is a nice, easy friendship bracelet to start with, especially if you already know how to braid hair. It's so easy to begin with. If you want to add a little detail like I am, you can add a tassel. So I'm just taking the tassel right off of these Dollarama paper clips that I found, and I'm just putting it somewhere in the middle of the bracelet, just threading it onto one of the strands of floss, just like I'm doing here. And then after you do that, you continue on with your braid. And then once your bracelet is about the size of your wrist, you can tie it off at the end, just like this. And then you can trim off any excess floss. Just make sure to leave enough so that you can tie the bracelet around your wrist. So this one is just a simple tying method. You might need help tying it on your own wrist, or if you can kind of wrangle your fingers like I'm doing here, you can tie it onto your wrist yourself. And that is the first simple braided friendship bracelet. Now I'm going to show you how to do one with kind of like a half hitch knot like you would use in macrame. So again, you're going to use 3 different colors of floss. This one you want to measure 4 times the length of your wrist, and again add 4 inches for the knots at the beginning and the end. This one I'm going to use a slightly different closure method. Once I cut 2 strands of each of my 3 different colors, I'm going to fold everything in half and then tie a knot at the top, leaving a loop. You want the loop to be a little bit larger than a button that you're going to use at the end. Then you pick your first color that you want and you create a 4 shape, and then you take the floss and you put it under the bulk of the bracelet and up and through the hole that you created in the 4 shape. So this is essentially a half hitch knot in macrame. Once you know this knot, you can do a lot of different sorts of friendship bracelets. So continue on making this 4 shape and pulling the floss up and through and tightening it on the top. Once you see your knot sort of spiral around your bracelet, what you can do is you can move the working floss that you have underneath your bracelet. And then you can continue on making the half hitch knot, and your knots are going to spiral around. You can make each color as long as you want, and then once you've finished all your 3 colors, you can grab the first color again. Just make sure not to take one of the yarns you've already used. Use a new one. Once you've made the bracelet as long as you want, you can tie a knot at the end. And then you can grab a button. I'm just using a button that I found at Dollar Tree last year, and just take one of the strands of your floss and thread it through the buttonholes. So this one has 2 buttonholes, so I'm going up one buttonhole and down and through the other one. And then you can tighten it or attach it to your button by tying just a simple square knot. So I'm looping around the floss that is closest to my knot to create a nice firm knot. Next, take your scissors and trim off any of the excess string that you have at the end. And then to fasten the bracelet to your wrist, you just have to put the button through the loop that you created. And that's a nice way to create friendship bracelets that kind of are really simple to attach to your hand. Does this remind anybody, if you're the same age as me, mid-30ish, of your childhood years? Pinning friendship bracelets to your jeans? Totally, it does for me. So I'm not going to go through this one in too much detail because it is a little bit trickier, but I did want to show you how to make one of these more detailed arrowhead bracelets. So essentially what you do is you can make them as wide as you want. So in this case, I am taking 16 strands of embroidery floss, and I'm cutting them to about 4 times the length of my wrist. And then you're going to arrange them in order. So you want the same colors on the outside, and then the same colors second most to the outside, third most, fourth most, etc. So you can kind of see here, I have pink, yellow, purple, white, pink, yellow, purple, white. And you're going to do that half hitch knot again. So I'm creating that 4 shape. I'm taking my floss up and through, and you're going to do that for each individual string of your bracelet rather than wrapping it around the bulk like you did with that last spiral bracelet. Once you do that with the right hand side, so in my case I'm doing it with 8 strands of floss on the right hand side, do it with the left hand side, but reverse your half hitch. So instead of making a number 4, you're going to make a reverse 4 and take your floss under and up and through. So if you want to get into more detail on how to make one of these arrowhead bracelets, I'm going to leave a link down in the description box below and somewhere up in the top right hand corner here to some more detailed tutorials on this arrowhead. I did want to show you this one because my girls and I were just starting to do this one after we've done the braided bracelets and the spiral bracelets. It's a little trickier, but it's so beautiful. You might want to, rather than starting with 16 floss strands, start with 8. And that's a little bit easier of a way to begin with this one that doesn't take quite so long. So here's how my 3 different bracelets look on my wrist. They're so cute, totally remind me of the early 90s, and my girls have been loving to make these for summer. Such a great summer project for kids, for teens, for adults. And now I want to show you how to make scrunchies, another fantastic 90s DIY that you can wear as a bracelet, or your kids can wear as a bracelet, or you can wear in your hair. So I'm just taking some scrap fabric that I just had in my studio. This is a satin fabric. And I'm going to measure out a piece that's about 18 inches long by about 5 inches high. If you make your piece longer, your scrunchie is going to be fuller. And if you make your piece higher, your scrunchie is going to be really fat, really big. So you can adjust the size depending on how you want your scrunchie to look. Once you've measured out your piece of fabric, you can cut it with fabric scissors. And then I just grabbed some regular hair elastics from the Dollar Tree. These are very inexpensive. You can just grab a pack of however many you want. Now, I learned this trick from Generation DIY, not my idea. I do my scrunchies slightly differently, but this wrapping them around a can or a jar I thought was brilliant. So I wrapped my fabric around a can that I had with the right side of the fabric facing out, and then I put my hair elastic over top, just like this. Next, take a glue gun and you're going to glue your scrunchie right sides together along the long edge, just like I'm doing here. So just put a bead of glue about 1/4 inch from the raw edge of your fabric. And then you're going to press your fabric together. I recommend just doing a few inches at a time. You don't want to do too many because what's going to happen is your glue gun glue will dry out quicker than you can put your fabric together. So just work in 2 or 3 inch sections at a time. Do this all the way around the fabric, all the way around your can or jar, whatever you're using, and then you can slip your scrunchie off. Once the hot glue has completely set and dried, you can turn your fabric right side out just like this. So basically you can kind of just shove your fingers inside like this and pull on the inside of the fabric to bring the right side of the fabric out. Do this until all of the fabric is facing the right way. And then how you're going to close this hole is take one side of the scrunchie and just turn it inside itself about 1/2 inch, and then take the raw side of the scrunchie and tuck it inside that first side. Then put a bead of hot glue along the inner part of that section on one side and then on the other side. And then just press that firmly, wait for it to dry, and that is a really simple no-sew DIY scrunchie that turned out so sweet. So I made a satin one. I also made one out of some scrap leftover velvet fabric that I had. You can use any fabric you want. I did like stretchier fabric better, so even upcycling a t-shirt would be a really great way to make a scrunchie. I also made some from a patterned knit jersey I had as well, and now I have a cute trio of scrunchies that I can use for my girls or for myself. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a little bit different than my regular decor videos, but I did want to share just some fun summery DIYs that you could do with your kids or for yourself. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more DIY and decor ideas on a budget. I'll leave some more videos that I hope you'll enjoy up in the top left-hand corner.